We are delighted to have on the line this morning Paul Nebrasky, Nebrasky Plumbing and Heating and Cooling. And Paul is joining us this morning. First of all, thanks for joining us, Paul, and thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, John and Denise, for having me.
And
yes, good morning.
Paul is here to talk about a couple of different things. And I'll tell you what, we're going to let Denise ask the question. We're going to, because Denise is going to is thinking about having all of her family over for Thanksgiving.
Denise, how big is all your family? I need to know
back in the day, Paul, there was a lot of my family, like just about 15 of us in a house, in a small little house. But we're spread out all over the place these days. But a lot of people are contemplating, what am I going to do this year for Thanksgiving when we're in the middle of a pandemic? We are now inside, where when the warmer months, everybody was able to gather outside. You had great air circulation, dealing with this virus. For Thanksgiving and the holidays, what are some tips for homeowners that are opting to have family over so they can be safe? Like, is there a way for ventilation? How does it work?
Denise, that's a great question, and we're getting it from all our customers, and even myself, my own family. We normally have a Thanksgiving of about 35 people.
Oh my gosh.
My wife and I took Thanksgiving over from her parents 20 years ago, and the whole family comes to us, and we're not sure what we're going to do yet. But if and I don't think there's any right answer to this equation with COVID. But if you are going to have Thanksgiving, let's talk about what you can do to keep yourself safe and healthy with COVID on the heating system part. So the first thing I would tell your listeners, 100% get your heating system serviced by a professional company. Why do I say that? Let's make sure it's operating properly. Let's make sure that the air is circulating properly. And I'm going to tell you this, 90% of our customers will have their heating system serviced before the season starts, do not have a breakdown during the season. And when I explain to my customers, do you get your oil changed in your car every 5,000 miles? Your heating system needs to be checked. So, Denise, the first thing I'm going to talk about is that. All right, okay. And that's really, really, really important. So let me ask you a question, Denise. Have you had your heating system checked out yet for the year?
Yes, I believe so.
You believe so? What about you, John?
I think we have, yes.
I follow all the regular maintenance stuff and things like that. So yes, it's a good thing that we should all do. I'm always interested in preventing carbon monoxide and all this other stuff that I have to worry about.
Right, and making sure your filters are changed. Yep. Preventive maintenance is huge on this. And what I found this year during the pandemic is many people are spending more time in their home, even with the air conditioning side. Yes. And their systems are working a lot more than they were. So really important. So let's get into your question, Denise. There's a couple of things you can do. Really, the easiest thing, if you have a hot air system or a system that has air filters, and change your filter and change it every 3 months. Okay. But the important part is what we've learned in this pandemic is that the standard filter that you might buy at Lowe's or Home Depot or your HVAC contractor left you is not going to take away some of the things that can cause COVID. It's not a good enough filter. So what I recommend, and the government has recommended, and Cuomo recommended, is to go with a better heating filter. And that filter would be anything that is MERV, and that's a big word. That's minimum efficiency rating reporting value, which is right on the filter, of anything above 8 to 11. And you can see that right in Home Depot. You can Google it, and all you're doing is putting a better filter in. And believe it, that better filter will help take out large things that are floating in the air, which could be COVID, could be the flu, it could be anything. So believe it or not, just by changing your filter and putting in a better filter is really going to help during the holiday season. And really, if to do talk about another thing, if you're going out to a restaurant because it's small and you want to eat inside, which right now I don't eat inside, but I know a lot of people do, you really want to go to a restaurant that has proper maintenance on their HVAC too. That is changing their filter, that is putting in the proper filters to filter out any contaminants. So that would be the first thing, Denise. Any questions on that?
No, that covers it pretty well.
Yeah. I didn't realize that.
And they're inexpensive. Okay. I'm sorry, Denise.
No, that's okay. No, I was just going to say I didn't realize that just by upgrading your heating filter that would help that much. That's great.
Help huge.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
anything from MERV 8 to MERV 11, okay, well, and it's really easy to find. You can Google it or you can go to Home Depot. We really take out contaminants, okay? And to really understand, a hospital has a MERV 13 filter. You would say, well, why wouldn't I put that in my house? Well, you can't because your system won't work properly. It restricts the airflow. So don't say, oh, well, you know what? I went online. I want to get the MERV 13 or 16, which is the best filter. It will not work in your system. It will actually cause your system not to have enough airflow. So that's the first thing, and that's really an easy thing. Now, a lot of customers say to me, well, I don't have a hot air heating system. I have baseboard hot water or steam heat. What do I do? If you have an air conditioning system, your air conditioning system also takes filters. You can put your air conditioning system on fan only to circulate the air and filter the air. What happens when we're inside is we're inside together and the air and the doors are shut and windows are shut and there's no air movement. And we really want some air movement. And I would also suggest if it's not that cold, and I just heard you go over the weather during Thanksgiving, maybe crack some windows in the house. Get some air circulation in that house. So if anybody's sick, even with the flu or COVID, that air, you're exchanging air in the house. You don't want that dirty air that people are breathing, other people are breathing. So first two things, very simple, crack some windows in the house. If it's not freezing, but usually you're cooking, and I know in our house during Thanksgiving, even on cold days, we ended up opening windows with 40 people in the house and cooking. So you want air circulation in your house, and you want filtration. Two very inexpensive things. A MERV 8 to 11 filter is $11.
Fantastic.
Okay, so one other thing, and I don't know how much time we have, that that became really, really big during COVID, and really, I think you should do this if you can. And what we're talking about, you should do this anyway. Forget about Thanksgiving. Okay, the filter should be done anyway, besides Thanksgiving. UV lights. Have you guys ever heard of UV lights? Or remember in the 70s where we had the blue lights where we'd walk in all white and everything turned?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So they make a UV light, which is really almost like a blue light, and they make them where they actually go into your furnace, into your heating system, into your ductwork. And what they do, they are 99% effective against mold and viruses, allergens, and bacteria. So you put air conditioning or your heating system, and when the air goes through it, it kills any type of mold, bacteria. They are effective against viruses. They are not saying, the manufacturers are falling short of saying it kills COVID because they don't know that, but they know it kills viruses. So I went ahead and put two in my own house. We have many customers putting them in there, and for everything I understand and read, they work wonderfully. Now, the issue with that is two things. A, we can't get them right now. There's a 3-month wait for these UV lights that we've been putting in, which makes sense, right? Anything in COVID, people couldn't get toilet paper. So we're having trouble getting these UV lights. But we're installing them, and they're a little bit expensive. It's about $1,100 to install one on an air conditioning or heating system right now. But they work, and they work well. So those are the two main things that I can tell you right now during Thanksgiving when people in your house and you're indoors, to do.
Paul, we want to thank you for stopping by this morning. But before you go, give us a phone number so that any listener that might want to contact Nebrasky Plumbing and Heating, what number can they reach out to?
I'm going to give you my website, which is the best way to contact us. And really, with any questions, I have no problem if you email us off the website. I'll answer them, if you're a customer or not. It's NebraskyPlumbing.com. And any questions or, if any of your listeners have any more questions, just have them send you an email or me an email. I have no problem answering them.
All right. Paul,
thank you so much.
We appreciate you stopping by. And
right,
have a great holiday.
All right. You two guys stay safe.
All right. Bye.